So self-healing and why it's so important. For me in my life, I've always been on a journey of self-healing, always like reanalyze and evaluate the things, my decisions that I make, and just trying to make sure that I could be better. Like, my process with myself is I'll learn how to do something and just be able to complete it. Not saying that I do it the best and I don't do it perfect, but as long as I can do it, I'm like, okay, I'm able to do this. And then after, I study myself and I study the situation so I can get better at it and make this thing better. And what I get out of that is that, let's say I do a task and it makes me $50. Not saying that it's just about money, but this is just the example. That it makes me $50. I do something and I can complete it and it makes me $50. If I learn how to do better and be better at it, my value will go up. So my value is priced at $50 when I first learned how to complete it. But then eventually, if I can elevate how I do it, then now that value is gonna go up. So now out of that same exact task that I was able to do, I was getting $50 out of it. Now I can get $75 out of it. The same exact thing that I was able to do. So that process right there is kind of why I'm always on some self-healing and self-evolving. That's why I'm into that. And so a little background on me. I go by Loove more. I'm an artist. I make music and paint and do videography and just a number of different things, bro. I do a lot of different stuff. When it comes to art, I'm unlimited. I feel like art for me is expression. So over the years, I've been doing the evolving and self-evaluating, and it's been helping me. But I recently ran into a roadblock to where I just stopped growing at the rate that I'm used to. And I was wondering, and I've been wondering why. Like, damn, why I'm not growing at the rate that I used to? And what I've came to, like, the conclusion I came to is that I need to do some self-healing in the form of not just the physical, not just the mental, and not just the spiritual, but a combination of all three. So I've been used to doing evolving in the physical form. Like, let's say right now I'm on the way to do a photo shoot and get paid for it. So I may learn how to shoot better. I may learn how to edit pictures better or things like that. And that's a physical thing. And that'll gradually let me grow. But eventually, once I get all the equipment and certain things, I'll reach a cap. And what I'm learning is that emotionally and mentally and spiritually, I have to grow at the same time. I have to grow more, because then I'll be able to withhold more information. My perspective will widen so that I can utilize my physical things way more. Like, I could use that shit way more. And so recently I've learned about codependency. And codependency, you should look it up. There's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. You can look that shit up. But there's a lot of videos about it. And codependency basically is finding your value in your work and kind of helping people to the extent that you hurt yourself, or you help people to the point to where now you need help. And it all stems from a lot of different childhood traumas and stuff. But for me, I feel like a lot of abandonment and has triggered my codependency. And so a lot of the times I feel like I'm only worth to people what I can do for them. If I'm not doing something for them, then hey, they like, all right then, bruh, I ain't got no need for you then if I can't use you. And I understand that if you're useless, if you can't be used, then you're useless. That makes sense. But why does everyone have to use something? That's just the society that we're in. And when it comes to me about my beliefs and what I feel like in this world, if I see something that I feel needs to change in this world, I become it. And I feel like through my channel, through my filter, the world could begin to change. So my journey, even finding out about my codependency, before that was Al-Anon. I started going to Al-Anon meetings because I have a lot of people, qualifiers, that have been addicted to all numerous types of drugs. And shit, Al-Anon is about for the family of people with addictions. And it kind of gives you like skills and support tools so you could know how to be there for somebody, know when to be there for somebody, not to be there, set boundaries. And basically the Coda and the Al-Anon kind of have the same kind of 12-step program, and it's been really helping me, man. It's been real good. The thing that I like about it the most is that it's sharing perspective. It's not one person that's actually leading it. It's not like somebody feeding information to you, like force feeding it to you. It's just like if you come there and you're the first time you come, they're gonna be somebody leader, like somebody speaking and leading the group. But then eventually you may be the person speaking and leading the group and being the secretary, collecting the money so that, it's a self-supporting group. And maybe you be a secretary for it. So that kind of makes me feel good that we're all a part of it and we all contribute equally to it. And then the main part is just kind of like church. When you go to church, you get the word. And that's something I love when I go to church, is getting the word. It's like a motivational speech. And when you go to Coda meetings or you go to Al-Anon meetings or Alcohol Anonymous, everyone speaks. Everyone gets to speak. Everybody shares their perspective and what they've been through. And it kind of helps because it's like God's way of speaking through people, through their situations, to give them a fresh perspective on things that I'm going through, and it's similar things that other people are going through. And when I go there, it may be people from way different demographics than me. They don't look nothing like me. They may be different ages, all different walks of life, different races, nationalities, different countries, different hobbies and what they're into, careers. And afterwards, people come up to you, and if they feel what you spoke, they add some extra words to it. And that's been real helpful for me. And what got me to go to there before that is me quitting smoking and drinking. And what initially led me to stop smoking and drinking was a spiritual calling. Like, God spoke through someone to get to a message to me and a lot of people around me that we're gonna stop drinking, we're gonna stop smoking, we're gonna be very successful. And now, growing up, I started smoking in middle school, just to try it, because my friends used to smoke and we used to play basketball, and I'm like, man, come on, we going to the league, y'all can't be smoking, we need our wind and woo woo. But then they couldn't feel me. They would just brush me off because it's like, man, you don't smoke, so you don't know what it is, so you can't tell me nothing. So that's what I started learning, like having experience in it will give me a perspective, and people will respect my perspective. So that's what in my middle school mind, that's how I put it together. So I tried it, and for the first couple of times I never get high. But then eventually I got high and I was like, shit, okay, I see what this is about. This is pretty cool. And I smoked for a little while, but then I stopped. I didn't smoke again until like after high school and shit. And then when I did it from there, that's when I kind of got on the path again. And I really was like, I became a smoker. Like I smoked, like, and I mean like never not high type smoking. And in between I'll stop for like jobs, try to get a job, pass a drug test or something like that. But then eventually I got that message and it was like, you're gonna stop drinking, you're gonna stop smoking, you're gonna be very successful. And in my mind, I worked with the universe and I was just like, man, we gonna stop drinking, we gonna stop smoking, we gonna be very successful. So I'm like, if everybody don't do it, then that means I don't gotta do it. And I always just try to find little ways around that message, and it was real direct. And I always, for years, I found little ways around that message just so I could fit it to my liking, to what I was comfortable with. But what I learned is I had to step out of my comfort zone to actually get to that space. And I finally stopped being stubborn, and I finally stopped trying to word around shit, because when that happens to me and I say something to somebody and then they word around what I'm talking about, I don't like the shit. So that's how I know God, the universe, everything that's guiding us, everybody got some type of external guide or internal guide that they feel like, man, it's linking things together and synchronicities coming together to kind of guide me. And so if that thing could be so forgiving, it's like, man, I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to live up to this. And another thing so one of the things that kind of broke me out of smoking and stuff too was I would be mad, or I'd be some type of emotion that I'll feel some type of way, and I'm trying to release this stress, and then I go smoke. And then once I smoke, I wouldn't want to come back and address the thing that was getting to me. I'd be like, man, it's whatever. I don't even care no more. It's whatever, and just let it go. I had a whole bunch of fucking in my system at this point. So eventually I got tired of that too, though. It's like, man, no, I want to actually speak up for what I want to say. Like, I want to speak up for myself. I got tired of smoking the problem away, and then I'm not high no more, and the problem's still there, and if not worse. So I eventually got over that, and I stopped. And what I had to do was stop actually. I just had to stop altogether. I just had to get rid of all the stuff. Like, I had to get rid of everything that had to do with weed. And then from there, with the codependency I'm learning is I always tried to stay busy. I didn't want to face myself, so I stayed busy. I tried to help people over here, or to feel good about myself. And or I had to smoke, like when I'm bored, or just different things. I had some good positive outlets doing art and stuff like that, but for the most part I was doing shit to avoid myself. And that's what I learned through Stop Smoking. I learned about different addictions. I was smoking and drinking as an addiction, then social media, that instant gratification, just hella different shit to try to distract myself from myself. And once I started taking all those distractions out the way, I started to get to myself. I had to go through a real mourning period, a mourning phase, like, damn, fuck, I'm not feeling this shit. Growing up, I always didn't want to, I wasn't really emotional, expressive of my emotions. But then I wanted to open up, and I wanted to be more expressive. But then eventually, I started being too emotional, and I let my emotions drive me. So once I start being able to recognize and use these skills from all these things I've been talking about, I'm able to now start to regulate my emotions, really think about what's going on. Realize that my emotions are intuitive. That's my intuition. It's telling me that my physical, my spirit senses something, my mind thinks about that, and then my body feels a certain way and gives me the emotion for it. And I utilize my intuition now. I can use it now. When I feel it, I'm like, okay, this example I use. It's kind of like having to use the bathroom. Imagine if you didn't know what that feeling was. You had to use the bathroom and it's like, whoa, what is that? You'd be like, my stomach about to burst, motherfucker, I gotta get to the hospital. But the fact that you are aware and you're in tune with the fact that that wisdom is that, oh, okay, that's me having to use the bathroom, so you can do something with it. You don't see that problem as something so major and big because you're able to recognize what the fuck it is. Like, oh, my stomach hurting because I'm hungry, or my stomach is hurting because I gotta use the bathroom. I feel the pressure. So that's kind of what the intuition does. Now that I'm more in tune with my emotions. And before, with utilizing all these things, yeah, I was still succeeding. I was smoking, I was drinking, I was being codependent. You know, I was doing different shit to where I was still succeeding. And it's like me just realizing right now, me being able to help other people, and I see that they can get there. Maybe they didn't have a lot of these things that I had blocking me away. So they got the tools and the skills from me, but then at the same time, they didn't have the things that were blocking them. That's why they succeeded. I got a lot of friends that have commercials, and I see their commercials. I hear them on the radio. You know, I see them traveling the world and different things like that. And at a point, I was the person that was leading that way, and they were looking for me to do that. But my whole thing was empower everyone. So for me to get my way with my influence, I have to continue to succeed. I have to succeed, and people respect success. If I'm homeless, if I tell you, man, even if I see that you have the money for a down payment and I tell you to get a house, you're not gonna fucking listen to me because I'm homeless. You're gonna be like, you homeless, how you gonna tell me how to get a home? Or you broke, how you gonna tell me how to get money? So that's a part of life. You grow and you become this tree that's bearing fruit. And then people will come to you for the information. You don't have to volunteer it. They're gonna see that, man, you're doing something right, and they're gonna ask you for that information. And that's what I'm learning a lot nowadays. So that's just a part one. That's just an introduction. I'm about to start doing videos. This is a video from my cell phone. I got a camera, and I always been making excuses, or yes, an excuse. Me just trying to be too perfectionist. So I'm just like gonna keep on creating videos. I'm gonna keep on making videos, and I'm gonna section them out, get real in depth about a lot of those topics. And I'm gonna share my art, share my music, share all of my different things with y'all, and hopefully y'all can tap in with it. So on Love, man, free your mind. Hey, they may do it to you, but don't do it to yourself. Free your mind.